Every world of Higurashi has differences varying from small details to changing the way things play out completely. This is what Rika refers to as God rolling the dice, meaning that it is random how certain things play out and you can get a 1 or a 6 or anything in between, and this makes some worlds more unfortunate while some have things going well. Among all this randomness though, there are still some things that stay the same in every world. This is the fate Rika is fighting against. The idea that some things happen no matter what, and those that don't are left to a random chance. The idea that your own actions have no meaning. And this is something that can only be explored this way in a story like this that happens in multiple worlds. But through Takano's backstory we find out that if a person works hard enough and has quote-unquote strong enough will, you can change your fate. You can force the dice to roll a 6. Takano's love for her grandfather gave her the will to push the research and even challenge a god. And even when ultimately things started going south for her, she still kept fighting for her grandfather's ideal. To defeat Takano's will, her fate, Rika needs even stronger will, which she needs everyone's help to achieve. The thing that binds Rika's fate is the last rule of the universe. All the paranoia and doubt in the village has been cleared thanks to the efforts of the previous chapters. But the last thing remaining is the fact that Tomitake, Takano and ultimately Rika herself will be killed. This is the rule that ultimately binds Rika's fate, but the other rules needed to be broken first to find the key. That is, getting everyone together to create a will to surpass Takano's. Turns out that the power behind this rule happens to be that of a secret organization, and because of this someone with the power to fight something of this scale is needed, and that is the role of Akasaka. Akasaka is very much overpowered, but I believe that can be justified by his character arc and context in the story. In Himatsubushi we learn of his first visit in Hinamizawa and how he meets Rika. Originally this chapter is only vaguely connected to the main story, but what is interesting is that we learn how in most worlds Akasaka doesn't survive this trip, and even when he does he often loses his wife. His survival is the combination of his and Rika's combined will to change his unfortunate fate. He never was close enough to Rika to repay the favor and help her. In every world he survives he realizes that Rika was asking him for help, but he realizes this too late, and despite his efforts to solve the mystery, he is left with heavy regrets. How he manages to finally change the fate is through a miracle. While going through the pieces, after the last piece we find another piece that was missing last time, a piece from Himatsubushi. Through this piece, Akasaka's feelings of regret from every world came to one miracle he wished for, and he's finally able to be in Hinamizawa when needed. I think this is best summarized when Rika is caught by the mountain hounds. In this one scene, all we see is Akasaka saying, "I made it." The weight of those words hits like Akasaka's fist when we get this amazing payoff of him saving the day. What makes this scene so good is the emotional weight it carries for the characters, and the fact that it is the literal turning point in the story. Akasaka always wanted to become stronger because of his strong sense of justice, but also to help those close to him, in this case Rika. His strong will is what made him this overpowered, and gave him the power to change fate. In Higurashi, much like in the real world, people are sinful creatures. Throughout our lives we do some bad things and mistakes that don't turn out so well. We always want someone to blame, but when that is not available, something still needs to take the blame. This is the idea behind the demons in the folklore of Hinamizawa. It was much easier to put the blame on something called a demon, even though the demons wanted to live peacefully among the people. Just because she was different, Hanyu was bullied and made a scapegoat. What she did though was take all the blame, all the sin, on herself, and then become a sacrifice that took all of the sin with her from the mortal world. It's okay to keep on living is something that anyone would want to hear when something goes wrong. Whether the thing that goes wrong is doing a bad thing or a wrong choice or anything, it doesn't matter. That is the role of Hanyu. A god is something that can take the blame and forgive the sin of people. It doesn't have to be a god though, whatever you can find in life that allows you to keep going can fulfill this role. The last chapter, Matsuribayashi, is the ideal world. Everything in Higurashi was built towards the idea that in this ideal world nobody has to lose. All the club activities, the festival, different character arcs, and pretty much everything else leads to this point. You could definitely call a world where nobody has to lose and everything can be forgiven a miracle. And I think the idea that if everyone can work towards making the world better, we can reach, or at least get closer to, a miracle. Even if this idea sounds cheesy, I think working towards making things better is worthwhile. Higurashi is a long work of many ideas, and the way it comes together in the end is masterful.